We saying it all. We are live on this Tuesday. Tuesday, 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 Tuesday. Uh, 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 uh. It's girls' night. It's girls' night.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it
It's
is.
girls' night. Until one knucklehead come on. But so let's get into it. What's going on, everyone? Welcome. I am tagging my people at the moment. It is Tuesday, yet we are back again with a show, Tangy Tea of Life. I am your host, Veronica, back with you on this Tuesday.
Wait a
So
minute, I
glad.
got a bell somewhere. Oh,
Come
oh,
with,
oh, 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 oh.
come with it. Okay, and of course it had to be purple.
Of course. What
Of
else?
course. Absolutely. My boy, brother, Victor is not with us tonight. I don't think he's going to pop on, but he's not
Victor, where
joining us.
you at? Where you at?
Okay. Fatine is going to be joining us shortly. At the last minute, something came up, so he's going to be on in just a few minutes. Um, but I do have my girl, EG, back with us tonight. Coach EG, that is.
Hey, hey, hey.
Okay. Sophie may be joining us tonight. She has something that she had to do quickly. So she may be joining us as well. So we may have a full house tonight. I don't know. You gotta stick around and see. But definitely gonna enjoy this girls moment while we have it right quick.
Exactly.
So glad to have you back, EG. Let me say hi to everyone out there who is watching. We appreciate you, Tanky Tea of Life. This is where we talk about any and everything. Um, Definitely when it comes to relationship, we give our best advice, and we do have an email letter tonight. Hey, Michael Keith. Hey, Tyrone. Everyone out there for watching. We appreciate y'all once again. Each and every Tuesday, this is where it goes down. All right. And let me say that Tangy Tea of Life is being brought to you by Greenleaf Cafe.
Okay.
Greenleaf. Greenleaf, my boy Jamel. Greenleaf Cafe is located at McLeod Fitness, Health and Fitness Spa is where I work, and where a lot of people attend, go to the gym and get their fitness on. So it's in a perfect location. Green Greenleaf Cafe. Make sure you go there, guys. I had a really great smoothie the other day, the other week, and had two since then. I had one tonight, as a matter of fact. Eggnog. It has eggnog in it. It's a protein shake. It's so delicious. All
Can you
right.
put liquor in it? I mean, I know it's supposed to be healthy, but can we put a little brown liquor in it?
You might want to take that home. You gotta look and put a
You
little
know I was
something,
gonna ask.
put a little something in it on your own.
Exactly.
But it
Okay.
is so delicious, and I think that's, of course, I don't think eggnog is around the entire year, is it? It only comes
No, it's
around like
it's seasonal.
seasonal.
It's
Yeah.
seasonal. Yeah.
So make sure you jump on that while they have the eggnog protein shake is really good. Let me tell you, everything there so far that I've tried is really, really, really good. Um, My favorite is the salmon wrap. So good. You get to pick your toppings that you want in it, from cucumbers to onions to whatever, spinach, whatever you want inside your wrap is so good. So if you guys have never tried Greenleaf Cafe, make sure you check it out. It's inside the McLeod Fitness Center. You do not have to be a McLeod member to go there and get your grub on, okay? Um, as soon as you come through the double doors, walk on down, it's on you. The cafe is on your left. So, lunchtime, check it out. After work, you want to grab something healthy and quick, right there, Greenleaf Cafe at McLeod
Well, I
Health.
just got to show a little love to our brother Jamal because he is that hustler. He
Right?
is that dude, very successful business person, making big things happen for himself. And so the Greenleaf Cafe is just another belt in his arsenal. And listen, y'all, success is not defined by necessarily how much money you make or how much this or
Mhm.
that, but success is about how many times you get knocked down but keep going. And
Girl.
Brother Lad is on it. He's had two or three successful businesses, and just want to show him some love because he is definitely that dude in our community.
Absolutely. Thank you, EG. Appreciate that. Jamil is definitely a guy that makes things happen. So definitely glad that he is a part of the Tangy Tea and sponsoring the show. We appreciate him so much. But guys, make sure you check it out. Greenleaf Cafe in the McLeod Health and Fitness Spa. Great food. You will not be disappointed. So be sure you check it out. So, AG, how was your? And let me say that Victor is traveling. So, yeah, he probably won't join us tonight. So, shouts out to Victor. AG, how was your Thanksgiving?
My Thanksgiving was amazing. Every year, my family and I try to get together. Me and my extended family. It's been a tradition. We started about 10 years ago. Took a few years off for COVID, but we were able to get together again this year. It was like 10 or 12 of us.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, but here's the catch. Here's the catch, right? It's 10 or 12 of us that can travel and hang together. It was funny. We talked about, who should we include and invite. And I was like, nobody, nobody. This it. Don't mess up. Don't mess up the ratio. But we went to the Outer Banks in North Carolina and it was amazing. It was really amazing. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I love this time of year. You get to spend with family and friends, all of your loved ones, and just gather together. And I'm so big on family and friends and loving up on people. Like so,
Right.
like I
Right.
just I love this time of year. So we definitely did the traditional thing. We went to my parents' house, and Daddy did the turkey, and
Did you
all
help
the
cook?
listen. We
Did you?
all normally take a dish, which they did, my brother's siblings or whatever. But I had an incident that took place the night before,
Mhm.
and it was a lot. So
Okay.
I didn't get into bed until like 6 a.m. that morning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I didn't have a chance to make the dressing this year. My mom went ahead and make did the dressing. Normally, I will make the dressing, the family dressing, which is my mother's recipe.
Do
Um,
you know how to make it?
oh my God, yes, girl. I'm talking about
Okay.
okay, and I ain't talking about no stove top stuffing or whatever you call
Right.
it, because
Okay,
that
you're
is
gonna
my
have to
dressing.
show me because that's the one dish I cannot master at all.
Girl, I love it. They be waiting for it every Thanksgiving. Like it
Right.
tastes just like my mother dressing.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to show me, girl, for real.
Absolutely, I sure will. And my esthetician, we was talking the other week, about Thanksgiving and what her family was doing and all that, and she was saying how she cooked her dressing, but she don't eat meat, so she only makes her dressing with vegetables, and it sounds
Okay.
so good, so good. So,
Okay.
but
Okay.
yeah, I got you. I got you.
Yeah, I need that lesson. We should do a cooking show one day for real.
Okay, that would be so awesome. Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
let's work on that. Yes. But so guys, what's going on? Everyone out there, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all so much. So we're waiting for Fatine to jump on. Also, Sophie may be jumping on as well. But in the meantime, waiting for them. Hey Nicole, um, let me tell you something that happened to me over the weekend, and it absolutely pissed me
What happened?
off. And I want for all the men to come to the front, okay? Because
All fellas, bring your ass.
this is bring it to the front, okay? Because y'all need to hear me clearly. So, lying in bed, um, was this Sunday morning? I guess I don't know. So I had someone to reach out to me, in Messenger, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know how messenger do, you can send you can write stuff, you can send people stuff, you can flirt with people, you can do all kind of craziness, and then they got this crazy thing on messenger where you're able to call someone.
Please stop calling me on Messenger because I ain't gonna answer. And don't video chat me because I'm definitely not gonna answer. Video chatting to me, this is just me. Call me the old lady. I'm gonna let you get back to your story. But
Yeah,
to me, if you video chat me like on Messenger, that's the equivalent of knocking on my damn door unannounced. Just
right.
saying. Just that's just me.
Listen,
That's just me.
I can't stand it, and I'm telling you, it ticked me off because I don't give off those vibes where
Mm-hmm.
you can just call me.
Right.
First you sent a message 1:45, whatever time it was in the morning. Okay. Then you had the audacity to call me 2:15 a.m. in the morning. Sir,
2:15 in the morning. Is this someone that you know of or just a rando?
I I'm gonna say no. I don't remember him. Like I don't know if we went to school. I think we went to school together. Like a lot of people, I can't remember. Maybe
Right. Yeah,
you
I'm
know what
like
I'm
that.
saying? Like I know people I went to school with and who I was close with, and blase blase. But I don't care who you are. If I don't have your personal number, you don't have my personal number. I don't have your personal number. I don't think we're on that level where
Right.
you can go and messenger and call me. You don't know if I had someone sleeping beside me. You know what I'm saying? A boo, like you don't know, and
You
I
don't know
don't.
me like that.
Okay, and I don't give no one the assumption that they have the right to call me that time of morning. I
Right.
don't care if it was 9 a.m. I still wouldn't have picked up, but I'm just saying 2:15 a.m. in
In
the
the
morning
morning.
and you're calling me on Messenger, sir. Please stop. Guys, if it's you, if you're out there and you're one of those dudes where you think it's okay to just call somebody on Messenger, trying to get to know them, trying to ask them out on a date or whatever, you know what? For one, it's already a turnoff that you're calling me at 2 o'clock in the morning. Okay,
Right.
that's number one. Don't do it. Do not do. I mean, you may have some chicks that's flattered by that and think that's okay, but I'm not that chick. Like, do not. It was an easy block for me. Now you're blocked. Like, don't do that. It's not okay at all. That's just me. And I'm not, you know, thinking I'm above everybody, but that is me. Don't do it. Please don't.
Well, I was gonna say this about it. It's not that you give off a vibe. I think social media, it has pluses and minuses, right? The plus about it is, from a utility standpoint, it has allowed us to learn about and experience things we normally would not have. It has
Yeah.
allowed us to reconnect and stay connected to those we may have lost touch with. It's a lot of good with social media. But on the negative, social media has also broken down some norms and standards. And so
Yes.
I don't think it's a vibe that you put off that says, "Hey," I don't think anybody for the most part puts off that vibe of some of the things that we receive in our inboxes. And I don't even think I hate to say it, but the men who get what you're saying aren't the ones that's going to be calling you.
Absolutely.
It's going to be the weirdos that they're just going to go down to the next person on their list because they think it's okay to do. But
Yeah.
to that point, if you are one of the weirdos that's listening, because the good fellas, they get it, they know better.
Right.
They're not going to be. It's one thing they may come in your inbox. It's another thing to try it at 2 a.m. in the morning. All right, they're not going to do that. But
Right.
if you are one of the weirdos, like, it, stop and think before you hit send on that inbox message. Like,
Please.
would I call her on the phone if I had her number at this time of night or morning?
Right.
If I knew her like that, would I knock on her door this time of morning or night without her permission?
Right.
Right? If you wouldn't,
So
don't do
disrespectful.
it.
It's just it is a disrespect to me. You know what I'm saying? Like don't pick the phone up and do that. Like I would never, even if I'm trying to get to know a guy, like I'm not going to call them on Messenger to get to know them. Can we have a conversation first? Like, send me messages, whatever you want to do through Messenger, but do not think it's okay to call me. No,
Right.
no,
Right.
we're not on that
Right.
level.
Right.
And now we will never be on that level because to me that's a slap in the face to me. But yeah, I had to get that off my chest because it bothered me so bad. Like it
Did
just
you answer or you just hit ignore? I'm just asking.
no.
Look, don't look at me like that. I didn't call you. I didn't
Okay.
tell his ass to call you. Had he asked me, I would have said, "Don't you pick up that damn phone, boy. Take your ass to bed."
Oh heck no. No, I did not answer. No, no, nope. Did not do it.
Do not blame you.
So yeah, that went that way. Like fellas, like in the comment, like Tyrone and all of you out there, not calling you out, Tyrone, but I know you're in the comments and you're watching. Like Michael Keith, do y'all think it's okay to, if you're trying to get to know someone, like to call them on Messenger without even giving them a warning? Like, guys, I don't know. Am I overreacting? Like,
I don't think you're overreacting to the calling at 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't care who you are. You're not overreacting to that. I
yeah.
think the calling on Messenger in general, I do think that is somewhat generational. Like our generation is like, wait a minute, hold on, we're gonna have some limits and boundaries. But then I think and I hate to do the generational thing, but it seems like so many conversations have devolved to that. But I do think there are some younger people, so to speak,
Hmm.
that don't have a problem with regular communication on Messenger. Perfect example. I literally had a similar conversation with my nail tech, and if I'm 51, she might be right at 40.
Yeah.
And I was making the comment, that I've had, you know, a guy reach out to me. Well, guys reach out to me on Facebook Messenger and they're sending me a video chat. And I'm like, hold on, I didn't sign up for that. Hold on, you didn't ask me. And she was like, oh, what's the problem with that? And I'm like, because you ain't asked me, don't video chat me unannounced.
Right.
And we had the conversation back and forth. Like, she didn't get it, it wasn't a problem with her. But she's like, yeah, I've heard, your age group say y'all don't like it. Y'all don't like to get unannounced FaceTimes or whatever.
Mm-mm.
If I don't know you like that, if I don't vibe with you like that,
Right. Absolutely.
to me, that is literally the equivalent of coming to my door unannounced. I may not be dressed appropriately. I may not be in the space to talk.
Right.
Don't, yeah.
Yeah.
But the 2 a.m., I don't give a shit. If I don't know you like that, if you ain't my strictly dickly, don't do that.
The please.
Don't do yourself like that.
Please don't. Absolutely not. Tyrone said he probably probably got a sign from the Lord.
I saw that. I'm like,
Really, Tyrone? Then he said, nah,
Tyrone, the
you
Lord didn't tell him to take his ass back to sleep.
okay? Really? Like, nah, now you blocked. Tyrone says, nah, you're not overreacting. I don't even like folks I haven't spoken to in a while calling me on the phone, let alone through Messenger. Absolutely. Like, come on now. That is not something that you do and think that it is okay to do that. So
Right.
we have Sophie coming on and we're going to get her thoughts on it. I don't know if she actually heard what I said yet or not, but we'll get her thoughts and see how she feel about that. Hey Sophie,
Hey y'all.
hey girl.
I'm
You know
so sleepy.
you know you got to flip your phone.
What is it doing? I'm sideways.
Yep,
Well,
there you go.
that's better.
Yes, ma'am. Did
Okay.
you hear my story? How first of
I
all, how are
know,
you?
I just got on. I am well. I'm
Good.
amazing.
That's how you got to say it.
I'm
Amazing.
amazing.
Right. So we
What
was talking
what are
about I
y'all
was I
talking about?
was I was saying how I was like so pissed over the weekend because I had this guy to actually call me on Messenger at 2:15 a.m. in the morning. Like first sent me a message like trying to get to know me, trying to go out or whatever. And then you actually called me through Messenger. Like how do you feel about that? Like don't I don't like stuff like that.
Call you for
Because
what?
he didn't even know my situation. Like I could have been with someone. My boo could
Right.
have been by me or whoever. You know what I'm saying? Like for him to
Right.
call me, like, no, it's not okay. So that's what we were talking about. And Sophie, this is Coach EG. I don't know if you all know one.
We have it. How you
No, we
doing? Nice
haven't.
to
How are
meet you.
you? Yes, you as well. Veronica, do you see Damon's comment?
Let me see.
He says,
Thank-
so what level of connection do you have to have for an unannounced video call or FaceTime?
Oh, we got to be on that. I have to have some kind of connection with you, like some kind of, um, like we have to be talking for a little minute. I know you, like we're able to laugh and giggle and have fun. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you have to be a friend.
Okay.
Um, yeah, like just you can't messenger FaceTime me through Messenger or whatever, call me through Messenger and think that it's okay that you're trying to get to know me by calling me a messenger. No, let's have a conversation first. Let's send some text messages through Messenger first or something. Now, as far as FaceTime, you got to have my personal number to FaceTime me. So most likely, if you have my personal number like that, we're on some kind of level where, okay, it's okay. But even when it comes to FaceTime, if I'm not like on that level with you, still don't FaceTime
And
me.
see, that's where I think so many people now think of video chat and FaceTime and all of that as the equivalent of just a regular phone call,
Right.
you know. And again, for me, that's a protected space.
Absolutely.
That's a protect. Even my brother, he'll get pissed because he'll video chat me, or try to, and I won't
Yeah.
answer, and I'll call him, and I'm like,
You
yeah,
won't
fine,
answer?
no, but I'll call him back eventually. But no, you'll just no, no,
Yeah.
no, no. Most of the time I will, but again, there are certain times where I don't want you looking in my face. I don't want to look in your face. It's a protected space, I guess.
Yeah. But I do feel like if it's somebody that I'm feeling, like, yeah, it's okay. FaceTime me. But if I'm not feeling you, please don't do it. But go ahead, Sophie. I'm gonna let you jump in. What's your feelings on this?
Yeah, like I think that still goes back to like you said, it's privacy. But like that's just like popping up at someone's house, in my opinion. I
Absolutely.
mean, if the farthest that we've gotten it has been inboxing through Messenger, then I mean obviously we not about to video chat.
Mm-mm.
Like I don't even know you. So yeah, I do think it's personable, but I have that the times that I can recall that happening, I answer.
Mm,
And you know, and my thing is like, what do you want? I
mm,
find that I don't know. I don't know. I guess that's kind of weird, but I will do that. Or like, or um I'm getting the inboxes. Like I've had my same phone number for like over 20 years.
yeah.
And it's like a business number. And so my thing is the way I do anyway, like if I ain't want to talk, I'm not talking. I'm
Yeah.
not answering the phone. And so you're not gonna make me feel no kind of way. My number is on my in my profile on social media, and I have public pages, so they're not
Mhm.
private. And so I just recently had something like that happen. I'm getting inboxed to death. I don't know if the person just don't work, but okay. So then it was like, you know, well, can I finally was saying something about, you know, maybe if I text you, maybe you'll respond, blah, blah, blah. So I said, well, you never asked for my number. So you can have my number. You know, then it was the thing, and now you blowing my phone up, but you're not really saying anything. And then, you know, I just got a thing with like, sometimes we're just not on the same level. You know, that's just it. And I don't even know what the person was talking about. So, you know, so I kept texting, huh? Huh?
Uh-uh.
And then I think I got on his nerves, and it was just like, you know what? I don't want to get on your nerves, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you're not getting on my nerves. You won't get on my nerves. You know, I just won't, you know, I don't feel pressured into responding. And so, same thing with like FaceTiming, or like even if a client was to like video message me on Messenger, if I don't feel like it, I'm not. Like, I don't know. And I guess I just don't make a big deal, but I do agree that it is like, it's kind of violating a violation of privacy. Like I don't. What if? Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
Then
especially at 2
I don't be
a.m. in the
FaceTime with
morning.
my kids, and then that part. Cause what do you want?
Yes,
Oh, I
Exactly.
know what you
That's
want.
where I'm stuck. The
the
2
wrong
a.m.
chicks.
Right.
And
Well,
see, but that's so common now too, though. Like them videos and pictures. And so that's that's what I'm thinking that might have been about. Because I don't, and then I'm like, who does that? I mean, people obviously are doing that, and they're having like video
Crazy.
moments.
That's what we come to. Like,
No, thank you.
you
We
think if
got
I see your
somebody else.
face, it's going to make things better? Like,
No.
no, it's not.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
No.
well, I
So,
was gonna
Tyrone,
say something real quick to just
uh,
kind of piggyback off of what Sophie mentioned about um people using your business profile and your number to contact you with bullshit. And again, the guys that get it, we're not talking to y'all. Um, but I too have my number on my profiles, my business profiles, right? Not on
mm-hmm,
my personal profiles, on my business profiles. And I have a scary situation. I always have somebody jumping in my business inbox or whatever, trying to flirt. Okay, whatever. I now have an outgoing message that automatically says, I don't respond. Contact me these ways if you really want to do business. But I had a guy reach out to me about a year ago, and it scared the living crap out of me. Initially, he sent the text message on the pretense of wanting coaching, but it quickly, like two texts in, became real stalkerish.
mm,
And it scared me, and it took me a minute to realize he was reading things off my business profile, but was trying to convert it into, he knew all this stuff about me, and I had to block him or whatever. But I just share all that to say, fellas, for the ladies, those of us out here hustling, trying to get our businesses going, doing our thing, please do not assume that because we have our numbers on our page,
mm-hmm.
that's an invitation for you to go dating. Find another way. Find another way. And if it's meant to be, we'll connect. We ain't. But
Thank
if
you.
it's meant to be, we'll connect. But don't do it through, because essentially, as a woman,
Yeah,
what you do is you push us back where we become very protective.
yeah,
And we have to become protective in a way that we end up possibly hurting our own business because I'll be honest, it scared me so much that for about a good 3 months, I pulled back on my marketing. And my social media is a huge part of how, I brand my
Okay.
consultancy business.
Pacific.
But
Right.
that was scary as crap.
Gotta be careful because it seems like they just try anything now to try to get close to you. They
Yeah.
certain things don't work. Well, we have a team backstage. He's going to bring him on. Brother Fatine, all the way from WBLS radio station, New York. What's going on, my brother?
Hey, ladies, happy post Thanksgiving. I know it seems like it was ladies' night here doing your thing.
Yes,
Hey,
absolutely.
Fatine.
Hey,
It's
Sophie,
always
Coach Easy, and
it's the
Sister
same.
Veronica.
It's the same. You know, I know the words.
Oh,
Oh, what a night.
Is this the
okay, let's go.
Face.
same?
Oh my God.
Always good to have ladies' nights. You
Nothing
know?
wrong with that. I'm not seeing nothing in the chat. What's going on? The chat working on your end?
Oh yeah, I see some things coming through.
All
People
right, cool.
chatting. I'm gonna take
That's
this moment and let Sophie talk about speaking of ladies' night. Sophie, you have something going on coming up shortly, the end of this month, correct?
I do. So I'm hosting my first event, and it's called Pink Pajama Palooza. And so
Absolutely love it.
it is an uh, Christian faith based women's empowerment um, gathering,
Mhm.
and um, I'm excited about it because it's been so much fight for me to not go forward in it, and so everything that could come did come or has, and I just it's just to be more so a testament of the strength that God has definitely endowed me with from the things that He's allowed me to come through. And so going forward and doing, and I was just telling a client today, I said, I don't care if two people show up, it's going down. Like we're going forward, and whoever it's for, it's for. But it is an opportunity for women, women to come and to release, to just really break through and to be poured into, and then also um, it's like a benchmarker. So like as going into 2025 and going forward in this affirmed place, to be able to look back and maybe gauge from that event as that moment that, okay, all of these other things may have happened, but when I went to this event, from that point, I just to be a benchmarker to say that was when I made my mind up to go forward in who God has called me to be, and or be open to discovering who God has called me to be. And so that's what it's about. I'm trying to tap in like really fully. Like my pastor, he's like really big about like, so you just gotta like walk in who you are. And so it's always gonna be some type of fun, like we're gonna have fun.
Yeah,
But I'm looking forward to it. Thank you for bringing it up
yeah.
and allowing me to even speak about it. But it is on, I did change the date. It was on the 21st. It's now on the 28th of
Okay.
December. And it's at my salon. And it's going to be, so that's House of Transformations. And the whole space is going to be transformed. And it's not going to look anything like a salon. And and so it's gonna be food, but it's gonna be affirmation boards that we do, and I'm big about karaoke. I
Oh
want to
yeah,
do
absolutely.
karaoke
Yeah.
and just have to kind of also just make it a fun girls' night as well, you know. So
It's awesome.
yeah, Thank you.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's going to be an awesome event. When you have ladies come together, and I'm talking about grown-ups, you know what I'm saying, that can enjoy one another's company and just, give God praise and just lift one another up on, building each other up on their success and all that stuff. It's such a great feeling when you can be around a group of ladies with the same mindset.
Yeah, like-mindedness.
Yes,
And that's the thing, just setting the atmosphere for that, making sure that it's very much um, um, just adorned with a sense of safety. Because I don't play about that now. Like we're not, it's a inclusivity, and just embracing each other.
Right. Absolutely.
So much can happen when we're on the same accord,
Right. Awesome.
Veronica,
Well,
I
thank you.
wanted to say something real quick about what Sophie said. Like
Did you
she's
pull your mic up some?
Oh, okay. I felt like I was too loud. That's why I took it down. Is that
No.
better?
Go ahead. Let me see.
Is that better?
Yeah, a little. Yeah.
Okay. I actually turned the mic down.
Yeah, you can turn it up a little.
Okay. Because I have a big mouth, so. Is that better?
Yes.
That's
Okay.
better there.
Yes.
Okay. No, she made the comment about she's gonna have her event, whether it's one person there or 100 people. And I just wanted to celebrate her on that because when I coach and consult with a lot of new business owners, a lot of times, especially with women, and I don't mean to make this all about women, but the guys too, we are afraid. What if no one shows up? Whatever that business is, right? What if no one shows up? And a lot of times the barrier to launching anything, whatever that business is, it's all in our mindset because we're scared. What if no one shows up? And I always, always, always say to my clients, every business had to start from somewhere. And if no one shows up, that is a learning opportunity for you. And to Sophie's point, if it's only 5 people that show up for your business launch, I'm talking generally to everyone, that does not mean that was a failure. That was an opportunity for you to learn and build. I say all the time, if you think about it, every time iPhone or Samsung or whomever releases a new phone, it never ever works 100% correctly out the box, does it? Right now, y'all can go get the latest and greatest iPhone. What version are we on? 15 or 16? I don't know.
18.
16.
Oh, the 16 phone and 18 version on.
Well, I'm a Samsung girl, so I don't keep up. But yeah, so let's say the iPhone 16. You can go get that right now. Within 10 minutes of taking it out the box, you will have to do an update. Why? Apple knew when they shipped it and released it, it wasn't 100% correct. But guess what they didn't say? If we don't have it perfect, nobody will buy it. No, they didn't say that. They said, we're going to ship this shit, they going to buy it, and we'll fix it on the back end. They see the opportunity. So don't ever, ever, ever delay your launch of anything, be it in business or personal, because you're afraid that others won't show up. They will. They will. You got to show up for you.
Right.
You remember that old movie called Field of Dreams?
Yeah.
And that's what has just stayed in my, just in my spirit. Because if y'all hadn't seen it, it was about a baseball field that was just once upon a time it was great, and then time went on and it closed and all of that, and it was like he was getting inspired to, or being inspired to, build it back up. And if he built it, the people would come. And I just, that has just really been coming to, to mind. And so, yeah.
And it's a yearly thing now. That is the Field of Dreams is utilized by Major League Baseball today. That once a year, there's 4 teams that go there, the New York Yankees and other teams that go to the Field of Dreams. So they build upon that and they play at that Field of Dreams field and move forward. So, that's it. I just want to say this to you ladies. that I encourage you all to continue on those paths, because you're right. It starts with your idea, and when it manifests and comes into something fruition, it started small, and then whoever shows up is what you build on. So I commend you all on that. I do want to say something real quick to you, young ladies. Not too many times do I have this opportunity to have seasoned women. I'm used to having this when I was in college. I surrounded myself around a lot of women. Veronica, you know I love to be around sisters. And I know when we do the letter, a lot of times the letter's talking about problems. We're at contention on one another. But one of the things I noticed that for me is I believe in having that grown and sexy conversation. Not where we competing against one another, the male or the female, but having conversation with one another. We're always talking about this, that, and the men and the women and this, that, and the other. But when do we have that grown and sexy conversation with the opposite sex? And even though I'm down by myself, I don't have a problem throwing a couple of questions at you sisters, because I look at you all as seasoned vets. Coach E.G., I look forward when you was on the show when I wasn't there, when I came, and we've had some great discussions. Of course, we debated on a couple of things, but we're mature enough to understand that we have our views, but we can listen as well. Sophie, I've been watching you out there on social media. Sister, you're dynamic. It's no ifs, ands, or buts. You and Dominique, family members, y'all are both dynamic sisters. Veronica, I've seen you from the beginning. And I just think it would be very good to throw out a couple of questions to you sisters. And there's no right or wrong answers. It's just basically your opinion. But let's have some conversation unless you have something else. But I would like to throw out a couple of questions to see how you sisters would move, because y'all are grown women. And I see some of the things that y'all talk about relationships and this, that, and the other. And we all in different places where we're at with relationships. So if you don't mind, I'll throw out the first question. All right. So my first question.
Yeah, we mind, because he started with calling us old. That damn season comment.
I said grown, the seasoned vets. Y'all are not wet behind the ears. Y'all been in one or two relationships. Y'all ain't no newcomers.
Down women.
Not sure. I've been in a relationship for 32 years before. So what can I tell you?
Go ahead, baby.
All right. So let me ask you this, sisters, my ladies. And I want, I can't see people in the chat. I can't see it, but if you can see it, Veronica, you can read it. The first question is, how do you express love and appreciation in normal and unique ways?
Okay, repeat that. I'm sorry.
Okay. How do you express love and appreciation in normal and unique ways?
Normal and unique ways.
I added normal. The normal wasn't there. But when I say unique, a lot of people are trying to pull. So I put in the normal there. But how do you express love and appreciation? Love and appreciation could be two or one of the same things. Love and appreciate in unique ways, because it could be relationship, it could be friendship. How do you express your appreciation, express love and appreciation in unique ways?
Unique ways. I don't know if it's unique, but I be there for people. I always make myself available for people. Too much sometimes, I think. But if I truly care about you, and when it comes to the friendship side of things, if I really care about you and our friendship is strong, and I'm all about sisterhood. And even when it comes to male friends or whatever, I give myself, I'm available to them. I hope I'm answering this correctly, but when I love people, like I love hard, and they see that. So I do little things. I make myself available. I think I kind of like want to, I'm not going to say want to be around people a lot, but I love to hear like their voice. Like if I'm, say let's get on the real as far as like someone I'm talking to, or trying to get to know better or whatever on that form. And I hope I'm not getting off topic of what the question that you asked, Fatima. But I like to make myself available. I like to hear your voice. I like to let you know that I am thinking about you, and I'm just available. Like, does that make sense? Like, I feel
I
like
mean, it makes sense. I mean, the same thing. I'm creative. I'm creative. Wake up in the morning, send you a little thought message,
like
take you out, surprise out, just not to dinner, but take that drive. Let's go somewhere. I listening to the person and hearing some of their likes and desires, wants and needs, and then picking up and surprising them on them.
yeah,
Making the small things count, complimenting.
give me all of that. Yes,
That's what I'm saying.
all of that. That's me. That's my love language. Yeah.
Gotcha. So,
yeah.
next sister, Coach EG.
It's gonna
Well,
be
my
good.
answer would be similar to Veronica's. So I'm going to say, give me another question.
Okay. All right. Hold on. So let Sophie answer this one.
Okay.
So, Bettina, honestly, like, I mean, I can agree because I'm a very, very observant. Like, again, like I've said it a few times, like when I'm in. I'm not a halfway person at all. So, like, I'm never gonna halfway do anything. However, at this point in life, I can't give details of like what I would do other than just say that at large, because it's been some years of not really having, well, even in friendship. Well, let me take that back. I won't take it back. I'm just gonna say that I've been in a time of season. It's been a long season of just maintaining, and then it's been some shedding, shedding away. So in like people, relationships, friendships, and I'm okay. I'm not in a space of being in a bad place with anyone. However, I'm not like, I care, like, so I'm gonna do everything that I can to make things work. But when it comes to the place of really showing that things are over, they're over. And I don't have no bad blood with anyone. However, it is a thing of where it's like, it's nothing to talk about now. It's nothing. So I'm not, so where I would say good morning, and all of that. I'm just in this space where it's really like nobody. I don't have a regular, you know what I'm saying? So I'm looking forward. I'm excited about the fact that because there's nobody, like, I'm big on giving my undivided attention to when somebody. I made a post. I really want to talk about it because it's been, I think Tyrone is still on here, but I've been having some interesting feedback on some of my posts. And
you sure seem like you putting yourself out there.
Yeah, and I'm okay. I'm okay with that. But I just want to say that yeah, like I just believe in being focused in on that one somebody. And so because that's not where I'm at right now, it's just weird for me, but I'm embracing it, and just enjoying the the me time. Mm-hmm. So what I would be, so I could say I've been very attentive to myself. What I would give to someone else, I've been doing that for me. And I've never done that. And so, mm-hmm. So I'm doing little special things. Like I like, I have a few love languages, but I like little gifts every now and again. So I've been buying myself little things, and then when it comes in the mail, I'm like, ah! Yeah. Like
But are you able to, since you're focusing on you, have you in past relationships or when you get in new relationships, are you able to do that as well? What is your love language there? How do you express that love? I mean, you're talking about to yourself. That's easy to do for yourself. How do you
It's
present
not
that?
easy. So, okay, so that's the thing. It's not easy because I've never
Mm.
done that for my. I'm
Ah,
like, so I am a recovering people pleaser, you know. So like, even with the so getting now the balance in that, I've given all, you know, in relationships. You know, well, I was in marriage, and you know, till I was just depleted, you know, because it was no reciprocity. And so but my love language is being affirmed. That's one of my that's a huge one. But like for others, I don't know. So like my thing is it depends on the person. I know that I pay a lot of attention. So it'll be whatever it is that they're showing me that is their language. And so like I think Vic said that one time about how, and I hate to even bring him up because he's being real
Please.
petty in his comments right now, talking about we look like 4 sticks of butter.
He
But
really
whatever.
is.
well, like I said, we need to have these kind of conversations because we don't have these kind of
Yes.
conversations, and I'm
Yeah.
glad we are having these kind of conversations because at times you get to better understand one another instead of always competing in conflict. Conflict is always problems. You understand? You can learn
Right.
from conflict, but there's also times to build on what love is. When do you men and women have these kind of conversations? You understand? You
So
know, and that's why I said the grown and sexy kind of conversations. It's easy to deal with conflict. When do you sit down and have a civil, grown up conversation with a woman and a man and really sit there and it's not conflicting? So I'm glad I can't see the comments because I don't want to deal with the pettiness tonight. You understand?
Right. Right.
so
I
The
what
do have a
comments
thought.
aren't bad. It's just Victor. It's not the
Yeah, I
so
comments.
got
what
you.
It's
I
just
can't see
Victor.
none.
so what
EG, I do have a question for EG and then the rest of you. So what changed about your perspectives on love and relationships as you've grown?
Ooh.
What's changed, EG? This is definitely for you and then to the rest of the sisters. What's changed about your perspective on love and relationships as you've grown?
Um, Number one, that love does not have to be confined to defined relationships. And let me be real, real clear about that. I'm not saying polyamorous shit or whatever. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is, I grew up with the traditional concept of to experience love, you had to be married, right? And that's not always the best route or the best option, depending on where you are. Um, and so I think there is a way for a man and a woman who are monogamous to one another, to have a really, really great relationship, without necessarily being married, as long as they are committed to one another. Um, I would also say what has changed about my perspective is I understand, regardless of what the relationship dynamic is, be it marriage or long term, situationship, whatever, um, it's not 50-50. It's not, right? Because, I think I've said it here on this before, but I say it all the time. Some days it's going to be 75-25, and you can't predict who's bringing the 25%. Some days it's going to be 100 to zip. And you can't determine how long that day is. That day may literally be 24 hours. That day may literally be years, right? That person is on nil. It just depends. And so when you come into understanding that everything is not always 50-50, that some days you're going to be on and your partner is not, and vice versa, you have to be you have to ask yourself, am I willing to stick it out through this?
Mm.
The last thing I'm going to say, and this goes for men and women, so I'm not beating up on the men, but cheating is a choice. It's not a
Mm.
mistake. It is a conscious choice and decision.
Absolutely.
And I think once we as a society take cheating out of the I made a bad mistake category and look at it as a conscious choice, we can then begin to have some adult conversations about relationships, because 99.9% of cheating that occurred, there was some level of planning.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't just walk in the room and I just dropped my panties the first time I met you, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was a whole there were in other words, there was a whole lot of ops that you had that you could have took out before you cheated.
Mm-hmm.
And so for the person, be it a man or a woman, that decides to cheat, that was not a mistake. That was a choice. Now, sometimes we make bad choices and decisions, but let's quit calling it a mistake, because that puts it in the category of, this was something I did without realizing it was the wrong thing to do, or
Mm-hmm.
without realizing there was consequences to it. Let's call it what it is. Now, if the person chooses to stay with you, that's fine. That's a whole different conversation. But let's quit calling cheating a mistake. Let's stop accusing people who leave relationships because their mate cheated. Let's stop saying they want the perfect person. No, they don't want the perfect person. They just don't want a cheater. And cheating has nothing to do with imperfection as a human being. It has to do with you making a choice to not do the right thing in your relationship. That's my 22 cents on that.
Got it. I'll leave that there. I agree with you on the choice. I agree with you there. It's not a mistake. It's about a choice. So I can agree with that. Veronica, what changed about your perspective on love and relationships as you've grown?
Um, I'm definitely not going to say that I didn't have my faults in my previous relationships that didn't work. I can say that yes, it ended up, as when it comes to cheating, like I've never took that step. But um, I'm not going to put all the blame. So I'm saying this to say I'm not blaming him for our relationship not working. So I take that into whoever is going to come into my life next. Like I know that it can't always be about Veronica. As bad as the Leo in me wanted to be all about me, I know that it cannot be that way. Um, and so that's one thing that I learned when it comes to relationship. Like I have to definitely let my better half per se know that they're wanted, as well as hopefully they will let me know that I am wanted and loved as well. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be selfish and like I said, and let this Leo think it's all about her, because if you're a Leo out there, you know what I'm talking about. It's all about us. But that's something that I had to learn. um, even though I feel like I've always been the one to get spoiled, and then when I get overly spoiled, it's like, okay, you know, but that's something that I learned, to make it about the other person as well. And not saying that I didn't, but it was more me than making it about us. And I think relationships will be a lot better if, both 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 people will look at one another as we're here in this thing together. It's not you're 80% and I'm what 20%, or you know what I'm saying? Like, we're here and we're trying to build one another up and make the relationship great, and listening to one another, and coming to an agreement with one another. And another thing that I learned is not to go to bed and not go days without talking and making things right. If we get into an argument, talk it through and not like hold my feelings in and wait until later on to be like, now let's talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Like just correcting the problem and not going to bed mad. And I just want peace. You know what I'm saying? I want peace when it comes to a relationship. I don't want, and not saying, we know relationships aren't perfect, but I just want that peace and knowing that he got my back, and him knowing that I have his back, and we can overcome whatever, come our way. We're able to sit down and we're able to talk about anything that comes up that is challenging to our relationship.
One thing I would say to piggyback off of what Veronica said about, talking things out and coming to an agreement. And one thing I've had to learn is, and ladies, this can be hard for us. We may get the answer that we don't like, but we have to accept it.
Absolutely.
A lot of times that I'm raising my hand, we will beat an issue into the ground when the man has given us the answer. We just don't like it.
We want him to change it. Like, don't
we want exactly.
Don't leave it there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have to accept it.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't mean that you co-sign on it, right? But once he's given you the answer, it is what it is. And the continued of the why, but that prolongs the argument.
Yeah.
That prolongs the animosity, the angst in the relationship. And you have to make a decision, okay, can I take this answer and we move forward? Or if this is the answer, what decision am I going to make?
Yeah.
I have this big thing where I say, there is no such thing as closure. You give yourself closure. And this is a little bit off topic, but a lot of times when we go through a breakup, we want to hear from the other person because we want closure. They're never going to give you the closure that you want, because really and truly what you want to hear is, why did you do it? And then they tell you why they did it, and that answer is not good enough. And basically what you're wanting them to say is, oh my God, I love you so much and I'm sorry and let's get back together. Really and truly, that's what you want to hear. And even if you hear that, you're still on the, but why did you cheat? But why did you cheat? Or why did you do whatever broke us up, right? Closure comes from you, not the other person. If you make the decision to move on, you have to be fine with that. You're never going to get an answer from the other person that satisfies you. So wanting to have these big closeout conversations, wanting to get these answers, it's not going to resolve anything. It's not going to make you feel better. Now, again, going back to being in a relationship and trying to repair something or get past an argument or whatever, again, and I'm speaking to my sisters and I'm speaking to myself, a lot of times we have to get to the answer is the answer. Now, fellas, I'm going to say to y'all, the answer is not the patronizing, you right, I was wrong. You can't shut down the conversation, right? Like, be forthright, be transparent, say how you truly feel. Like, yeah, I stayed out because you were getting on my damn nerves. Okay. I need to hear
and we have to be okay with them telling
us. We have to be okay. And we have to say, okay, maybe I was nagging. Maybe I was getting on his nerves. Maybe like, y'all have to communicate and we have to be okay with what we hear. And I don't mean okay. And again, I'm not saying you take and don't make a decision about how you want to move in the relationship, but the constant pounding of the but why, and the nagging,
That
girl,
is,
you weighing yourself out.
yeah,
Right.
it's
Yeah, I
definitely.
mean, I don't. Again, we kind of had this discussion before. Not to take away from it because I can go that direction. The reason why I present these questions to see where we've grown, not to
Definitely
go
grow.
back and talk about past problems. How have we grown? Are you answering these questions? What's changed before you go, Sophie? What changed about your perspective on love and relationships as you've grown? So what Coach E.G. is basically saying is, and honestly, it applies. You said it differently, but it applies. That now I look at that I will now, if I ask the question and I get that answer, I'm not going to continue to be little and keep going on and on looking for an answer I want, but accept the answer that is given.
Mm-hmm.
And also she talked about closure where we had that conversation before, you know. I just want to just kind of just stare it back on track because Sophie hasn't answered, but I'm just going to throw my 2 cents in there on the answer that what changed about your or my perspective on love and relationship as we've grown. Because been in a relationship for 32 years and looking at where we did hit a bump or whatever, but majority of the relationship was not hard. I look at it and I say relationships can be sacrificed. It's sacrifice. Sacrifices that you give and take. It's give and take. But it doesn't have to be hard and combative. You don't have to accept it. If a relationship is arguing and combative, you can have challenges and you can work through those challenges. Life is challenges. But when it's combative and when it's hard, I see a lot of people that stay in toxic relationships. That was another question I kicked off in another podcast of mine in the morning. Is that why do we stay in toxic relationships as long as we should? And we know that they're toxic. Relationships being toxic is not productive. So the bottom line is, I've learned that I'm not going to stay in a toxic relationship. That's what I've learned. I've also learned not to sweat the small things and listen as well as communicate. As Sister Coach E.G. say, if you ask the question, be straightforward. Don't give them the answer you think they want to hear because you don't want to hurt their feelings. Give them the answer that they asked for.
I thought you was asking us questions.
Huh?
I thought you was asking us, the women, questions.
No, I'm asking, yeah, but I'm part of this conversation because I want to make sure, because remember, this is about men and women having grown folks conversation. This is not just about women. This is about men and women having grown folks conversations. When do we, remember I started off, when do we have grown folks conversation? We back and forth as men and women. It's not just about group of women. We don't help one another when there's a group of women talking amongst themselves and a group of men in the barbershop talking amongst themselves, and we don't come together and have these conversations. So that's why I'm saying tonight is grown folks conversation where I'm throwing it out. It's just that it's three females and women, but I'm going to put my comments in there as well.
Well, let me ask you a question. What's your next question? That Sophie, I'm asking a question to ask a question that Sophie can answer.
Well, Sophie hasn't answered this question yet. She has not answered this question.
Oh, okay.
So I was just talking about some of the things that I have grown. So just to throw about how I become more compassionate and how now I know, like I said, I talk and communicate with a lot of females, but I know what I'm looking for and what I feel. I don't know. It's just not about just the physical attraction. It's something about their spirit. It's something about the dynamic of their aura that connects me, that I'm wiser now because I've been through certain things, that I know what I'm looking for and look and know what I'm not going to accept. That's how I have grown when it comes to love and relationships as I have grown. So I just want to put that out there.
You can't speak about how you've grown. You know, how are you looking at love and relationship now if you don't reflect back on what you've been through?
That's your measuring. That's your measuring. That's your ruler. Measure where you at. And the reason why I say that, because being in a relationship for 32 years and look what worked and what didn't work, and now where I'm at and what I won't tolerate, what I'm not going to tolerate. I would not sit here and think about. I just some of the things we talk about going through people's phones. I'm not getting no relationship like that. I'm not getting into no pettiness like that. I want to be with an adult where we know where we're moving, how we're moving, And we don't have to waste time on pettiness. Not that you won't have a bump or disagreement. But what I'm saying is I am not 25 no more. And I'm wiser through experience and know some of the things that I've been wrong. Some of the things that I have been wrong on that now I know that I can correct moving forward. So that's
Well,
how I have grown.
That's a good segue. I'm jumping in because there's a great comment. That's a good tie-in to what you just said. So Tyrone said, toxic can be subjective to a point. We need to clarify what we mean when we say toxic. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. And not to belabor the point, because I know on this podcast we've talked a lot about communication. But we do have to define what's toxic and realize that what I may consider as toxic, you may not. And that goes back to what I said earlier. Sometimes we just have to accept what people tell us, who they are, and then make decisions for ourselves. So, Fatim, to your point, you going through somebody's phone, you ain't doing that, right? Because that is toxic. That is childish, right? That's my opinion and your opinion. Another person may see that as just everyday doing business. So you and I have to make decisions in those relationships. This is that level of toxicity I don't want to deal with. Now, the other person may not see that as toxic. And one thing I would say that you said,
Whoa, hold on. You said, hold on. So let's define toxic. I define toxic relationship as one where negative patterns such as manipulation, control, disrespect, lack of support, or constant conflict harm one or both individuals emotionally. That's what to me is a toxic relationship.
That's still subjective though, because then you have to define what's harmful, what's manipulative. You get what I'm saying? So you and I are essentially saying the same thing. It comes down to what we define as toxicity. The other person on the other table, on the other side of the table, may not.
That's why we have to communicate that before you even make that commitment, correct?
Right. But the other part to that, where you made the comment of, you're not doing hard relationships and all of that and combative. And I would say to anyone, if you're and we're not even talking about just physical violence, right? Obviously, if it's physical, that's toxic, that's dangerous. Everybody needs to part ways. But if it's a lot of arguing, if it's a lot of madness, if it's a lot of rage, if it's more tension than affection, that's not a relationship. That's a sparring match. And I'm saying this to younger people because if y'all can learn a little bit from us, let us save y'all some of the heartache we've been through, some of the pain we've been through. If you're arguing more than you're loving.
And that's the thing. I feel like a lot of young people, and then we're going to let Sophie jump in here because she haven't answered the question yet. But I feel like the younger generation is good. And I'm glad you brought that up. I feel like they think that when they're and I'm gonna say boyfriend, because I hear from quite a few younger females. They think that means that man loved them so much because they argue with them. They want to know every move they make. They want to, they pulling them and pushing them and, demanding stuff. And they think that's love. And no, honey, that's toxic. And it can be very violent. You know what I'm saying? If you continue down this road, is not cute, but a lot of them think is cute that their man is acting like that towards them. So if we're gonna let you jump in here and answer the question.
So let me just repeat the question, Sophie. What changed about your perspective on love and relationships as you've grown?
After all that has been said, my biggest takeaway at this point has been that I am determined and relentless in my stance that if I can't have a friendship, then we don't have anything. My experiences have been, we love each other, we fall in love at that, and then I'm pregnant. And then we need to make it right. I mean, and that in short has been the bulk of my life, 2 marriages. The first one was clear, and to this day, we still have great communication. But incarceration ended that, in short. The second one, very confusing. Very confusing. I can harp on the toxicity, but I won't. I'll just say that I know for one, we were not friends at all. He didn't even like me, you know, like he liked the idea of me. And so you talking about a little over a decade, basically, of my life that I'm just like, I mean, completely devoted, devoted, and then depleted in the end, and having enough strength of knowing that this ain't it, and you know, I'm just gonna take what I have left, and I'm gonna get my babies, and we're gonna go, you know. And so over the past 3 years of like really working on me, I'd say my biggest thing right now is I want a friendship. I want to be what he wants. You know what I'm saying? You know, the saying of, I want you to do what it is that you want to do. I don't want a person in my life that's trying to check the boxes and play the part. You know what I'm saying? And look the look. I'm very much more. I'm subsurface. You know, I don't just want what looks good. I can take some good pictures all day, every day. Right. And I can make some great posts. But when I go home, I want my person, you know, and it isn't so much about the stipulations of like, we got to get married and we got to do it like this. The title of my life is non-conventional, you know, and so like so much has happened to where it's like, you know what, I love God and I believe in his way and his statutes and his principles. I believe in I believe in love, you know, in loving. I made a post early today, like I will always love agapely. That's a word that I made up, but you know that agape love.
Agape love is agape love. Yeah, I understand what you mean.
Right, and so that's me, and it's been tried, and it has been, you know, tested, and so, but as far as that getting close to me, I'm just relentless in my stance of we gotta connect. Yeah. And absolutely. Like it has to be a real connection. And you know, and I'm okay with my biggest takeaway is, hey, I'm not in a rush. I believe that everything is in God's timing at this point, for real. And it ain't so much about, oh, let me hurry up. Oh, I'll be 45 in March. Oh my God. You know, I mean, a part of me is even still open to, you know, having another child. Don't tell my oldest. You know, just little things that I do know that I've thought on that I'm just like, okay, you know, in the event, you know, but
thank you, Sophie.
I'm not pressed though, really. But I'm not pressed. I'm learning how to like really just breathe and really just enjoy the journey. And I don't even in these 3 years, there's been, you know, a couple of guys that I've talked to that have been friends to me. And I think that they have definitely been an intricate part of my healing process. Just like Coach E.G. says, it's no one that can nobody's going to give you closure. You really have to seek after that for yourself, because that's still subjective. I believe that it depends on the person and their perspective on a whole lot, especially being in control. You'll never get closure, because if it's about what you want, how you want it, and it got to be like this, or if it ain't, then it ain't, then you'll never get closure. Right. I had to tuck away. I had to put the wife in a induced coma, because the way my marriage ended, she was depleted. And so like I'm just thankful that I was able to, you know, do that. Now just here recently, and this is just a friendship, you know, and y'all know I'll be a little transparent. So like, I'll just say this. I had an encounter with someone that I had been friends with for a few years, and I just would have never thought, you know, and like, okay, and it's been some little nice moments, but I realized that the purpose, if it's for no other reason, was to he was able to tap the wife and wake her up. And I'm saying that to say, off of what Coach E.G. said about the closure part, nobody, like my ex couldn't give me, the wife and me, the closure that I guess I needed. I had to have, without even knowing, you know, the patience to wait on the opportunity for that to happen. And that was all in God's timing. And like, I can say today that part of me, because I'm a wife and she is in a very good place right now. And I'm able to put her back in her bunker because it ain't time for her, because nobody don't deserve her at this point in time. And be good with single mom Sophie, entrepreneur, and who's that is about to embark on some great things for the kingdom of God. And that's just like where I'm at. And when that time comes for this next, then great. But he will be my friend. He will be, and then he will be my husband, and not just in title, you know, in entirety. And so, and I'm okay with the process. I'm having to combat with my oldest because of a lot of the brokenness that came about from the past, you know, marriage. And I'm seeing that is the focus. That is part of the main focus right now, making sure my kids, before, even though, you know, my oldest is 22, she'll be 23 in January. So it's like, my kids are, the oldest two are 18, well, about to be 19 and 23. And so I've always said, just from with my meta narrative and the way I grew up, I, you know, took a vow that my kids would not leave me broken. And I want them to be in the holy state that they can be in, you know? And so, and I believe that God gives us so much power to help them in those areas. I mean, it'd be hard, and there's moments where even tonight I was just like, you know what, this child, you know, my last nerve. But I love her, and I know that this rigid part of her is on the brink of a real breakthrough. And so I just gotta stand and you know, hold my shoulders, square my shoulders, hold my head up, you know, and just take some things
and be that
and then listen. But I'm looking at what success means to me. And that's the thing, as a mother, that is my greatest desire. I want my kids to be able to say, when they look up, mama was always there, you know, and you know, and again, you know, not trying to be too this evening, I'm tired. But you know, if we seek the kingdom first, you know,
everything will fall in
kingdom
place.
God, everything else will fall into place. And like, that's just where I'm at. So like, at this point in the time of life, and from all that, and then being able, you know, being right here, my biggest takeaway is that part. Just let God flow, you know, and allow myself to breathe, enjoy the journey. And again, like, if nothing more, friendship. I'm determined to. I was about to sing for y'all. And if I
I can't sing.
Don't do it.
But let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, ladies, because I don't know none of y'all when y'all were 22, but I do know where you're at now. Age is not necessary, but you all are career women. You all are career women. And you all, besides Coach E.G., I don't know too much. I think, you know, you talk a little bit. I don't want to dive deep. but I do know with Veronica and Sophia, we're in relationships and whatever. But you're at a different space now than 15 years ago. How do love and partnership now? How does love and partnership fit into the bigger picture of your lives? Where before you looked at the goal was to maybe have that husband, get the children, build a family. Now, some of you have children. I don't know if you do. But you are, okay, so we all have children. And now you have your career women. You know, you're not just starting off. You may have projects out there that you're building on, but you're all a career women now. So how does now love and partnership fit into the bigger picture of life? Because marriage may not be the all, where that may have been that long-term goal now. Where does it fit into your life now where you're at? Love and partnership. Because as you said, Sophie, friendship first before husband. And I agree with that. Friendship first for me before another wife. So where does that love and partnership fit into the bigger picture now of your life? Want to go first?
Can I say? I'm gonna just say this. I don't. So, I'm still in all that you just said. Like, I'm still in the space of where I can say that I'm willing to submit to what's worthy of submission. And so I just was listening to I can't even remember the lady that was speaking, but she was talking about submission. You submit to the mission. So if he has so that's my requirement. Sir, if you don't have a vision, if you don't have a mission, then it ain't too much. I know you're not him. And so I believe that, again, I believe in structure. I believe in the order as that's my belief in, you know, the man being the head of my home, the priest of my home. Like, I believe in that. And I believe in order. Now that's just me, and I'm still.
But do you have a mission as well as a career woman? Do you have a mission now? And then when that man comes in, does his mission has to fit into your mission, or the missions have to come together? How does this work?
I think that the thing would be a healthy compromise. I don't believe, like, I'd be very careful with the word compromise, because sometimes we'd be like, I ain't compromising, you know, my standards, and I'm not compromising. So, like, he'll already have to be there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not. So this conversation can't even happen if those marks aren't met. You know what I'm saying? So now we're talking about at this place and point, and yeah, like, so again, yeah, of course I have my own mission at this time. I believe, again, and that's my faith, to say that in the time of when this coming together happens, then there should be, again, I was talking about connection. There should be a connection. So, like, my mission shouldn't be so far away from his to where I couldn't still submit to, you know what I'm saying? Submit my mission to his, and then it's, because the whole significance of coming together is to exemplify, to come together. Like, it's supposed
the two of you would be submitting into one another, actually.
To one another, right?
Let me ask you a question, Fatin. What is the context of your question? Is it based on the premise that women may have at some point to forsake working on relationships because they're pursuing their career? I want to make sure.
No. It's not based on the premise of women. It's based on the premise of individuals, male and females. I'm presenting this question to women, but that's why I said to Veronica, I will also answer these two. It's not just two women. The basis of this is love language. When do we have these conversations amongst male and females?
Okay,
men and women.
Your last question, is it, be it male or female, is it based on someone forsaking building relationships to pursue their career? I'm trying to understand to make
No,
sure I
just
answer
basically
correctly.
how does love and partnership fit into the bigger picture of your lives? But I tweaked it and I presented it to what I'm to you ladies or career ladies. If I was talking to college women, I would omit the career part. You understand? Because how do see, this can go to anyone, but
I
I'm looking
actually
at,
think it would apply more to college women because they are making choices about where they want to start their career.
but
I would say
but if you all are single, then this fits you all too. How does love and partnership fit into the bigger picture of your life? It fits wherever you're at, because right now, if you all are single and you all look forward, that you're not running from it, that you look for a relationship, love and partnership, then how does it fit into your lives now, into the bigger picture of your lives? Because you have dreams, goals now. So how does love and partnership fit into your lives now? That's what I'm asking.
but you threw in the part about career, so that's why I needed
Now, I brought in
clarification.
that part about because y'all are all
Right.
career women. Y'all are all career
I will
women.
say
That's all.
this from a Black woman's perspective, right?
Yes. Okay.
Most Black women, and this actually Black men too, most of
Mhm.
the time, we're not making choices about relationships and our careers for the most part. Like, we can pursue a career and our relationship because we got to earn a living, right?
Right. Mhm.
So usually that's not at play. Usually career comes into play when it's a money issue. For example, if the woman is earning more than her mate. But that's a totally different conversation. I would lean more where Sophie is, in that regardless of whatever my career is at this stage, which I do, I get to do what I love to do. And it's what I hope to do until I close my eyes. There's no retirement for me per se. But as it relates to me, it's how does this person just fit into the overall of who I am? The only
That's
part I would say, if I were pursuing a long-term relationship with someone, is their understanding of me being an independent business owner, right? Having an understanding of that. And there's a lot that goes into play. And I don't think that it is about my career, but it's not, but it's an understanding of, yes, most of the time I'm working from home and not in an office, but it doesn't mean I have freedom and flexibility to get up and run when you need me to. Like, I can't take the dogs to the vet. I can't go make grocery store runs like I'm running a business, right? Um, because I am running a business, we have to financially plan and act accordingly, because sometimes it can be a feast, sometimes it can be a famine. In other words, the money is going to balance out in the end, but it's not going to be the traditional every 2 weeks we get this amount, right? So it's little idiosyncrasies like that. The bigger thing for me is, how does this person fit into the overall of the goals that I have for my life just as a human being? And is a relationship even what I want? And what do I want from a relationship? And does that person check the boxes of what I'm looking for? And do I check their boxes? So that's how I would answer that
You
question.
answered it, and when I use the word perfectly, you answered it perfectly. Not that it was the perfect answer; it was your perfect answer. You answered it, and that's what I'm asking. What is your answer? How do love and partnership fit into the bigger picture of your lives? You answered it, and that's your truth, and that's why I'm saying, when you're sitting down with another gentleman and talking about relationship, and you put those things on the table. That's what I'm talking about. How does that fit? You just said certain things I can and cannot do, but now you're laying these things out. We don't talk about this. We assume these things and then get into relationships and then find out down the road later where we could have talked about some of these things out front. You just laid it out perfectly for you. I would never debate it. I wouldn't debate Sophie, because basically it's you. How does it fit? But we need to start to have these kind of conversations when we are having discussions with potential mates. Veronica, your response to that. Thank you, EG and Sophie. Veronica?
When it comes to love and partnership for me at my age, I totally look at life like these other ladies and you too, Fatine. I'm pretty sure that y'all look at life totally different now. We're older. We're not getting any younger. We're taking things more seriously than we did when we was in our 30s and our 20s. Um, for the next person in my life, whoever he may be, definitely going to have God. God is going to have to be first in his life. Um, you can't be out here moving all kind of ways, and I'm moving, I would say, the right way, and trying to stay on the right path. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. But I know who's good of my life. So you definitely got to have a relationship with God. Um, and like Sophie hit it on the head when she said friendship. We have to be friends. I have to have someone that I can laugh with. We both enjoying life and enjoying one another and hanging out. I'm not going to be too busy where I'm not going to make time for whoever is, going to come into my life. We have to make time. We make time for things and people who we want to make time for. And that's a fact. A lot of people be like, oh, I be so busy doing this and that. I can't make time to go out to grab something to eat, or, that to me, that's BS, because you make time for things and people who you want to make time for. There's 24 hours in a day. You don't have an hour. You don't have 2 hours to make time for that person that you want to be with. So, those things are important to me at this stage in my life. Yes, my career is very important. I'm kicking off a brand new career at the age of 48. You know what I'm saying? And I thank God for that. Because what God has for me is for me. Like, no one can take that away from me. And I thank God for that. But when it comes to love and partnership, like, I want a partner, somebody that's going to push me to do better and be better, just like I'm going to push them to be better and do better. You know what I'm saying? And not talking about like pushing them in a new career or pushing them to that. And just it could be the small stuff that I'm going to push him to do and be better at. I want somebody that I'll be able to talk to about anything. You know what I'm saying? I want that when it comes to a relationship. Games, I'm not about that life. I'm not about that life anymore. I took a lot, as I believe we all have, taken a lot in relationship, previous marriage or whatever. But I'm not about that life. It's about, being serious. And
If you are 45 plus and still playing games, please sit your ass down somewhere. Get out the pool.
come on,
Let the chlorine come in.
like for
Go
real.
somewhere and sit it down. Because
Yeah,
who has time for that?
right. It's all about peace now.
Mhm.
Give me peace. And I know I hear a lot of men, a lot of brothers saying she needs to be my peace. Well, guess what?
You
We need
need to be
that.
hers.
Yeah, we need that peace as well. It goes both ways. We need that peace in our lives. We have a lot going on, just like the male in our lives and around us have, a lot going on. We know you men, we know that you all have a lot on your plate. We know this, but you have to take in consideration that we as women, we have a lot on our plate as well. Um, and not trying to play the, tit for tat game, but I'm just saying we all need peace and we all need to be each other's peace. So if
What
we
does
can,
that mean? Because
you hear it
I'm
a
and I'm
lot,
just asking.
I see it as a refuge, as one, as each other's refuge. We both acknowledge that, the world is hard, life is tough, but when we come together, we're trying to soothe one
let's
another
talk together.
and do what we can to make the other have
Easier.
a little easier.
Yes,
Yeah, like
absolutely.
catering to each other in whatever way
Whatever
that
that may be.
translates.
To make it
Maybe
easier.
it's my day to clean the bathrooms, but I had a crappy day at work and you're like, babe, I got that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. or
Yeah.
whatever it is, vice
Yeah.
versa.
And when it comes natural, it's, you made me reminisce. And I reminisce where, like I said, my late wife Hanifa had sickle cell. So there was times where, like you said, Coach EG, it was no 50-50. You understand what I'm saying? It was what needed to be put in. But let's just say when she was not sick, and let's just say both our daughters were in school, let's just say the school age now. I handled what needed to be handled on the outside. She handled what needed to be on the inside. And if she called me and say, listen, what time you coming home? And I say this time, and she said, I need you to get the kids, or I'm not feeling well, I need you to get the kids. Can you blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I got it. I got it. I got it. It's if it's to the point of us got to do, because we usually didn't plan it, doing grocery and laundry the same day, which I didn't like to do that, then I'll handle the grocery, she'll handle the laundry. We work together to make it work. And that was our piece, because we look forward to family. We look forward to our time together. We look forward for family time together, and we look for our individual time together. And we respected all of that space. And when you respect all that space and it becomes natural, it's peace.
Yeah.
That's what
Let
a
me
peace is
say
to
something
me.
about that real quick to build on the piece, because I do have the privilege of coaching mostly professional women of all races, ages, and demographics. And the one thing I encourage women, but I want to say this to Black people in general. It's okay if we can afford it, and you have to see your way to afford it, because sometimes we can afford things and won't pay for it because we think it's bougie. But it's okay to pay for things that are conveniences in your life, in your marriage, that make it easier. To that point about peace, if you like a clean house and your mate is not good at cleaning, or doesn't have the time to clean, or doesn't clean like you want them to clean, find a way in your budget, if you can, to pay for someone to come. Not every day, right? But maybe
Yeah,
twice a
like
month.
once every
Yeah,
2 weeks.
it
Can I just
started
say
for
this,
me.
EG? Could I
Go
say this
ahead.
real quick? I did do that.
Yeah,
Not because she
exactly.
was down sick. It was just that we had the second baby, and I just said this may be a little overwhelming for her.
Right.
And we hired a young lady Monday through Friday. That came like 9 in the morning and left at 5 in the afternoon. And
Exactly.
Hanifa would not just sit back in the bedroom and sit back and lay in the bed and watch soap operas. She would help, but she had that helpmate. And that helpmate that came in to help, that I paid for,
And that
because it
became one
brought
last
her,
thing
yes, it
that y'all
worked for
had to
us.
quote unquote discuss, which could turn
Yes.
into arguments. When I was pregnant, that's the one of the first times I had housekeeping, and it became a staple
Mhm.
for me. And I love a clean house and love keeping my house clean, but I don't like to clean, right?
Mhm.
Um, but things like, if you got a mate that does not like going grocery shopping, but y'all got to have groceries, guess what? We in 2025. Be okay with them ordering groceries to the door. Be
Mhm.
okay with occasionally, if you got a mate that you want dinner on the table, but he or she can't always get it on the table, be okay with having takeout delivered,
Right.
or going out or whatever. But it comes down to that pick and choose your battles thing.
Mhm.
Right.
Because if we think about it, and all of us are of age where we've been in relationships, and we probably can look back, especially the failed relationships, we can look at and figure out some of the nitpicky things that we spent way too much time arguing about. And if you just had some level of convenience to cover that thing, that's one less thing. And so I'm saying this to my chocolate folks: it's not bougie. It is not bougie, cause ain't nothing noble in cleaning a toilet. Ain't nothing noble. You don't get no brownie points cause you scrubbed the pan,
Mhm.
cause you folded the laundry. Like there's nothing glorious about it. But when we're talking about being each other's piece, right? Sometimes it is that little thing, fellas. If you like for her to ride in a clean car and she don't keep it clean, and you tired of going out there cleaning it, pay for the guy to come
Pay
detail
somebody to
it.
clean it. Thank you. Yeah.
You gotta
Now,
learn
ladies, on the
how to
flip end,
make
we might have to give up some stuff for that thing to happen.
you
We
you
might have to give up that extra pair of shoes or that Amazon box for him to make that happen. But pick and choose your battles and pay. It's okay for us to pay for some conveniences, and it ain't
it,
bougie, y'all, when we do it.
it and it's
So that
not
would be
if
a
it can
takeaway for me as well. Like at this age and point in career and life and all of that. Like, baby, like if I'm doing what I'm doing now and you doing what you're doing now, we come together to make it better. We should be really doing it. And like you said, I mean, what you may not have time to do, and then yeah, like why not hire somebody to do it? And that's just like painting the salon just here recently. I was like, yeah, I could, and yeah, me and the kids, and I can get my son and his friends, and I don't want to paint. I don't want to paint, but
Exactly.
I want my walls painted.
But you want your walls
exactly.
And
painted.
they got
Time
painted, and
is the most valuable resource that we cannot get back. I say it all the time. There is no store you can go to buy more time.
got more
Time is
All
more
right.
time. That's
valuable
good.
than money.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
I got one
so
more question for
go
y'all.
ahead.
This is the last question I have. And the reason why I'm asking this question, because we all talk about being busy. But being busy and we in a relationship as well, we gotta the give and take. As you said, we don't put a number on it, Coach EG, because I agree with you. We hit hell with that 50-50. Let's don't bring that here. But what are the most fulfilling ways to maintain closeness in a busy world? If we have a busy world, how do we maintain closeness? For me, I believe in that everything that I'm doing, if I'm working, projects or whatever, that's important. But my significant other, girlfriend, fiance, wife is also important. And I think that sometimes we take our loved one for granted. Oh, baby, I got to work this. I got to do extra hours. When do we put the priority on our loved one? So what are the most fulfilling ways to maintain closeness in a busy world? When do you shut it down and say, hey, not just on the 2 weeks vacation, when do you, what are most fulfilling ways to maintain closeness in a busy world? When you're busy, how do you maintain closeness with your love partner?
Well, that's why I said you make time for things and people who you want to make time for. You're not working 24 hours in a day. I don't care who you are. You have to take time to eat. You have to take time to shower. You have to take time to fill your car tank. Like you have to make time for all of these things. You have to make time for the person that you want in your life and who you want to be with. That's a fact. No matter how busy you are on the job, you have to take time out for that person or you will be alone. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think there's and I get it. Like
There's a
people
key word in here, Veronica.
are busy.
There's a key word in here, not taking away from what you're saying, but I want y'all to all hear this word, include you, for fulfilling. What are the most fulfilling ways? Because like you said, we have a job, we have to shower, and we have to do those things. But for me, fulfillment means that I desire to please. I desire to spend that closeness with that person. I feel passionate when I'm with that person. That's that fulfilling part. What is that fulfilling part versus looking at it? I have to eat, I have to shower, I have to put in time with my mate.
So
I don't look at that as fulfilling. Fulfilling means it's something that I desire to do, I want to do, I want to please, I want to put a smile on their face.
Yeah, that's easy.
What is that?
Because that's one of my love languages. Like I love being around my significant other. I love touching them. I love hugging and kissing and doing things for them. So that right there would not be a problem when it comes to me. Yes, my life get busy, and these past 6 months have been crazy busy for me. But if I had someone, you know what I'm saying, that I was coming home to, or I was in a relationship, I still would have made time for that person because I would want them to make time for me. You know what I'm saying? I want them grabbing me and hugging me and kissing on me and, telling me I smell good and, all these things like that you supposed to, I think supposed to happen in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm willing to do all of that. So I'm definitely not the one to not make time for somebody who I want to be with. I would definitely make time for who I
I
want to be with, without a
I
doubt.
also think it comes down to understanding the receiver, what it is that they need, right? And making sure that we're not using fillers as the standard.
Mm,
And this is what I mean by that, right? So, um, my ex was great about giving me flowers
mm,
all the time, right? And he, to Fatine's point, he loved going to get the flowers. That was his thing. But they were fillers to replace something else he couldn't do. Maybe we
Right.
hadn't been on a date night in a while or whatever. And so the flowers became a filler,
mm.
to
To make up
replace.
for, yeah.
Exactly. They became it was really where it should have been a filler. I'm doing this until we can do the big thing. It
Hmm.
became standard.
Yeah.
And so I think a huge part is knowing when your mate is feeling, lonely
Neglected.
without you or needing more time with you, and figuring out creative ways to incorporate that. Having those fillers, but again, not allowing those fillers to become the standard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good
I
point.
think the
That
hard part with even that, because that is good. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about real scenarios and thinking about, yeah, again, our age groups and all of that. Okay, so like people are busy, and then also a lot of people are stuck in ways. And
Absolutely.
so, it's and then they've already been in relationships and marriages and all of this stuff. So just like what you're saying, Coach EG, I'm sitting here like, ooh, cause see that'll make me not want flowers. Don't bring me no darn flowers, cause I
Exactly.
don't want them.
oh
That's the
God.
last thing you better
Guys,
commit
It
to
some
me. I ain't
becomes
want no
this is
flowers.
exactly what it become. What you did now.
Yeah, so like, but listen to this. A small mind would say, well, "Let me go get her flowers because I know it. I get my flowers, we're good." We're not good. We're not good. Now it looks like it's a real problem. So like that is I think that's kind of a slight fear of mine right there, because it's like the reality of things. Like I'm thinking about, I got somebody in my head right now, busy, busy. I mean, and applaud the brother, got it going on. Like how they say he built from the mud. You know what I'm saying? Like he really did. He really has, and he's maintaining. He's all over the place. Really, really, really. But I'm just like realistically, what does a normal week look like with him? You know what I'm saying? In a relationship, and we talked briefly, but I was like, you ain't got time to talk. So I'm like, it was a little curiosity there, and then it kind of like, I know what I don't want to be in. Like we ain't got to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like I already see you don't have room. So
Yeah.
then it's like, but if you do want that, and that was kind of where the conversation ended, then yeah, like you're gonna have to make some adjustments on your end. Because it could be some things like you said, it's some things that have become fillers in their own life, because it's like it's just been them and they just used to doing what they do. And I can say that for myself too, but I've been very aware. And
Yeah.
so like I could say, hey, I could be so busy where I couldn't do something like this, because it's other things that I if I turn this camera, y'all see I got 2 loads of clothes to fold right now. So I
Right.
have things that I can do. It's about priority. It's about, when we talk about somebody else being our peace, like we do need to know how to be our own peace. And that's
Absolutely.
my thing. And so like in a relationship now, that's how I'm thinking. I'm like, I have too many people that I can see, and I'm looking at their relationships and marriages, and I'm like, and that's interesting. I got a client, she's never worked. Her husband, he makes sure she don't have to do nothing. She has a plush life. However, he's at work a lot. But she can go do what she want to do. you know, and sometimes she said, you know, Sophie, sometimes, you know, one time it used to kind of bother me. Now it's just kind of like, I don't want him home. She like, when he come
And
home, I'm
she's
happy
gotten
to
used
see
to him
him.
not being
They're
there. Yeah.
both of them have now become set in the way.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it's like, you know, and it's like, you can't even be mad. It's like, okay, well, then
Right.
if that works, then that works.
Yeah.
That's my thing. I'm like, see, what works? Like right now, I'm like, yeah, like, go. I want to motivate people, and I want to let people know, like, if you're down, you don't have to stay there. And like, I know that my person would kind of have to, when we talk about missions, he'd have to be in that same, you know, in that same lane. And again, we could partner together and that be our thing. But I don't see too much work in too many ways, you know. And I'm
Well,
just being
one thing
honest.
I will say, and this is more coming from my coaching experience, you know, I do get to coach a lot of high level people. I'm supposed to be on a coaching call right now.
Mhm.
But the person is late. He's in a conference call. But for us in our age group, the one thing I would caution is if we're dating someone or getting to know someone and we realize they're busy all the time, there are a lot of people, and they may be busy and have successful careers or business or whatever, right? And on the surface, that looks great, right? What I've learned is a lot of people are scared to not be busy.
Right. That's where I was going.
They have
Mhm.
abundance, but they have a scarcity mindset, and that's a whole different topic of
Beast.
conversation.
Yeah.
When you have a scarcity mindset, it does not mean you don't have. It means you are afraid to not have, and you will do everything to not go back there, whatever that is. And so they can have $1 million in the bank every day, but they're working like they only have $2. For us
Right.
on the in this age of where we are and what we want and what we're looking for, that's something we have to think about, because on the surface that could be great, right? But Sophie, to
Mhm.
your point, if you're wanting someone that can build with you, they may not understand the pathway you need to take to get to what you want. And they're just like, you know what, we're going to do this traditional job thing. And, you know, we're always going to work and we're not taking
Right.
vacations. You know, if you like to vacation, if you like to have, you know, higher end things or whatever, they might be like, why are you spending all that money? And I'm not saying they're wrong. I am saying those are actually little red flags that we
Yeah, they
need
ain't
to
my people.
say, exactly, is that my
And it's
person?
okay. You just
And
not
it's
my
okay if
person.
they're not.
Yeah.
And the other thing, you know, I was talking with my niece this past Thanksgiving weekend who just got married. And she and her husband, they're really young and they're the sweetest couple. And they made the comment about their relationship being built in a covenant of faith and religion, right? And they said, this is what we want because we haven't seen healthy examples of that.
Mm.
And me and my sister-in-law stopped them and we said, there are no examples of relationships that you want to emulate, because every relationship that you think is goals, every relationship that you think may have all the qualities and components that you want, there is something behind the door that you don't see. There's a sacrifice or sacrifices that
Mhm.
Yes.
someone has made to keep that relationship going. And
Mhm.
even the most righteous uplift, you can look at your pastor and say, they have the greatest relationship, and this is what I want to be. And they pray together and they do this together. And you don't know, that man may go home to his wife every night and she beating the hell out of him, but he
Right.
stays because he's in his covenant with God and he's been told not to leave.
That's
And so
good.
what I said to them is, you don't look for examples. Do not say you have not seen an example of a good, healthy relationship. So what you say is, we are working to build the relationship, the good, healthy relationship that we want based
We
on
want.
our faith and our covenant.
Yes,
Because
yes.
I promise you, behind every perfect looking relationship, there is something behind a door that one of y'all or both of y'all will say, yeah, I ain't built like that.
Yeah,
Let
and
me
I
just say this.
always say that, just one thing for Tina. I always say that you can't look in someone else's home because you never know what is going on behind their closed doors. But you can have people that you look up to. You can have couples that you look up to or you reach out to, like say, if my grandparents were still living, you know what I'm saying? Like I looked up to them, but not saying that they had a perfect marriage, but they had a really great marriage that I could see. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to have, those mentors, that you can go to and talk to. But you are right when you saying don't want to be like, have your marriage like someone else's marriage, like make it your own.
Right.
Absolutely, I get that.
Right. Because what's the running joke? And all my grandparents had relationships. I knew my great grandmother, right? And all my grandparents and great grandparents had relationships until they died from one another, right? But what's the running joke? Eloise would have left Leroy if she could read, you know. So we look at our grandparents and say, oh, that's the example. I'm with you. You can look up to them. But I know there were some things in each one of my grandparents' relationships that my grandmothers went through that
That
my ass said
that we
no.
wouldn't want to go through today. Yeah.
No.
On the last thing I wanted to just say is not a question because I'm looking at the time and also respecting Coach E.G. that she has an appointment, is that is something that Sophie said, just to use as an example, something small. She said, I got 2 loads of clothes to fold. Soon as she said that, for me as a man and thinking partnership, first thing I was like, teamwork. If I was there, I fold those clothes. You understand what I'm saying? Do what needs to be done, right? Work together as a unit. The difference is some men hear that and don't react because they don't feel it. I feel it because I'm compelled. That's how I don't want to use the word I was raised. I don't want to sit there and say I was raised there to do that. I know I still had certain principles, but because of relationship and partnership and really look forward to building together and working together, you hear those things. You don't have to always be told those things. You hear, oh, I had a hard day. As soon as you say I had a hard day and you got, I got to take these clothes, I got that.
Yeah.
One thing that we did not like to do is go to the laundromat and come home. As today, I go to the laundromat. I could put a wash and dryer right in this damn wash and dryer room. I have my reasons. I like to meet people and whatever. But I fold my clothes. So we had a stickler. We don't put our stuff in the bag. Just take it out the dryer and put it in the bag. But this is the compromise you talk about, E.G. and Veronica and Sophie. If I had a game, if I had a softball game at 9:00 and I get home 5:30 and Hanifa says, I cooked, but I just knew I had to go to laundry, but my back is hurting from, small sickle cell crisis, nothing major. I'll come home. I'll run to that laundry. I'll take the clothes out. I won't ball them up, but I usually shake them out, lay them nicely, and then put them neatly in the bag, bring them home. She'll say, I got it. I lay on the bed and fold like that. And the girls would join up and fold while I go to my game. What sacrifice? That's what. We still got what we wanted. The clothes got done. She cooked. I go into my game. I just detoured. She planned to go to the laundry. She didn't feel well. So what? I can fulfill that and still do what I need to be done. Even if I get to my game late, the bottom line is, you talk about peace. What brings me peace? Playing softball brings me peace. But what brings me more peace is home. Home has to be peaceful. When I come back home, she's in a better frame of mind now. She's in a better frame of mind.
What I keep hearing is that it's just all the consideration. Like, you got to consider each other.
Yeah.
And if that's not there, then you can't, I used to say all the time, I'm like, in my past relationship, I'm like, it's like my voice had no, if my mama called, my mama is not here, but if my mama called my name from outside, I know that's my mama. It's certain things that, some people's voice is way more and when the latter part of my marriage, we went to counseling, and basically that was what, the doctor said. He was just like my voice weighed, like something was off. Like when he didn't see me And now it's some, it could have been more, or is it more? Maybe so.
Could have been tuned out. What happens if we become tuned out of a person? We don't realize that we tune them out.
Autopilot, but it really gave that there were some, some deeper issues, obviously, that didn't have anything to do with me per se. But I'm just saying that is the thing. It's about considering each other. And so like you said, when we can all work it out together, like, again, teamwork make the dream work. So just with the example that you just gave, like, I think that's beautiful. And that's even the more like my prayer for you, Fatine. Like you like you said, was it perfect? It was y'all perfect. It was y'all's perfect. And so that's my, and every time you say 32 years, I'm like, gosh.
Yeah, but Fatine had to grow into that though. He wasn't always like that.
Right. But that's what I'm going, like, on that, the latter end of everything. It's like, gosh, and now looking back, like you like that is the possibility of, of course you're not probably looking for that at this time. I mean, I'm sure you've been doing the work. I could hear it. But it's like, I can only, like, just imagine, like, how the thought is, it's like, okay, so like this next relationship, like, what will that look like? It'll look completely different than what you experienced. But I just think that's such a blessing to have, to even experience that. That
it is a blessing, because I may never see that again, but I'm very thankful for it, along with the humility and learning as somebody is suffering through an illness, a painful illness, and still can show compassion and concern about family, their kids, our daughters, to go through that.
Excuse me, Fatine, I'm sorry. My client is online, so I gotta go. I enjoyed y'all. Invite me back again. Nice meeting you, Sophie.
Nice meeting you as well.
All right, Coach Gigi. Well, it's about time to wind down anyway. So
yeah, it's
absolutely
10:15.
I just wanted to say this one thing. Going back to what Fatine was saying, and then we're going to get off here. We've all have grown from the past. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can own it. I can say that in my previous marriage, like, I was not his piece. I wasn't, let me say, I was not always his piece. Like, I could come home and be mad about something that took place at work and take it out on him when I get to the house. So that's why I say growth is very important. And once you grow up and you know what you're looking for in the next relationship and what you want to bring to the table, the next relationship, that's a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? Being there for someone and trying to be their piece, wanting them to come in the house and smile, just like we want to come in the house and be able to smile and hug up on the person that's there and love upon them and, kiss them and all that good stuff. That's what I'm looking forward to now. So growth is definitely very
beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. All right. So thank you guys so much. We're going to get out of here. It is 10:16. Thank everyone for watching tonight. We appreciate you all. Sorry we didn't get to all the comments. 80% of them was from Tyrone. Tyrone, we appreciate you.
Listen, me and Tyrone had a moment earlier today, and I was like Tyrone, that dude.
Tyrone,
like, I was reading, I didn't know. Ended up because I had got borderline attacked twice today. That's another story for another time. Not attacked, but if a teen kind of witnessed something that happened with a post I made once, I done had it happen like so many. But it's okay, it's okay. And so I read Tyrone's comment on my post so fast that I said, don't even worry about it. I updated it and I switched it from the woman's perspective to everybody perspective. And he was like, no, I didn't mean for you to do that. I was just saying this would make a good topic of discussion. And so, and then I guess after, just kind of responding to his comment, I went to his page and like his post today was just like, oof. It was, like, if you're not a reader, then you wouldn't read it because it was a long post. But it was you got to read it. And just what he's going through even now, and it's just like, just so powerful. And it's like, you just don't ever know what people are going through.
Absolutely.
You never know. And so I just want to even say, like I said, I'm proud of Fatim. I'm proud of men that are, in spite of, because it ain't always, of course, we're gonna always speak from our the woman's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll never say, and that's why I always be trying with Vic. I be trying with you, boy. But I really am. I'm proud of him. I'm just proud of those strides, because it's not easy. I think about my son, and it's just sometimes I'm like, it's just not easy out here anyway.
Right.
And so I try to not be so sideways and just say, oh, women, and just all for us, because there's some sick women out here, some very
absolutely
broken women. And they're, we talk about toxicity and all of that stuff, but narcissistic, avoidant people, period. And so, I just think that if we can be, a light and bring, even bring peace in a way of like having these conversations, like you said, Fatim, where when do we have grown up talk? Like, when do we really talk about, instead of being petty or being, just biting each other's heads off, like let's try to find like that common ground to where we can shine some light for real and be better. And so that's why I'm just thankful for being a part of this again on this evening. And
appreciate you.
And I'm glad that it was so many, but like, I think Tyrone needs to be on the panel.
I know he should have been on here tonight. Absolutely. Tyrone been on the show one time, was it? Once. I know he sat in one time with us, and then he actually made an appearance one time on the panel. So Tyrone, you definitely have to come back on. We had an email letter, and I know I put it out there, feeling lonely during the holidays. This young lady, actually, it was a really, really great letter, but then Fatim came in and switched everything around. But we'll definitely get to this letter, and I know for a fact that she's watching tonight. I know.
I apologize, but I had to take advantage. Of this.
Yeah, we will get to your email letter Tuesday, most definitely, because I feel like it's important. Not only
it's big because that was what my post was about today.
I want to say something.
Yesterday,
I gotta say
this. I did a video post, and it was about cuffing season, and it was just like,
I gotta say this. I gotta say this now, because one of the reasons why I wanted to have this conversation, I have a friend that comes on here, KC, Veronica, Sophie, your cousin Dominique. I look at, like I said, y'all are all adult women. We learn, we communicate with one another, and there's things I see. Sophie, I see certain things through your posts, and I think instead of sometimes, because I don't know you that well, to ask you certain things. I feel certain things when you put out things, but I don't go because they could be personal or whatever. But what I do say is that we can start with this conversation. And how many times do we have an opportunity to talk with one another? We talk about we all are not in relationships. We talk about possibly being in relationships, but we don't talk with one another. We combative over letters, or over topics, or over somebody saying something on the internet, and that sucks the air out of the room. When do we control our own narrative? And that's why I wanted to do, once I saw all three of you on today, I was like, if I can, because if Veronica had to go in a different direction, I'm let her lead. But this is something that some people may look as boring. I don't care, because I think that the more that we communicate and converse with one another, the better we will start to begin to understand one another and see those things and start having conversation about those things. We don't meet everybody and start conversating them out in the damn club and the party and at a football drinking party. No, you have conversations when you can control the narrative, where it's not a lot of confusion in the air. That's what you do. That's what grown folks do.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, I must say that, it was, a great topics tonight, and having E.G. and Sophie on. as well. And I wasn't the only female on the show tonight. But you know, these letters that come through, man, these letters be serious.
Oh, yeah.
And not only is that person be going through what they talking about, it'd be a ton of people that be going through those exact same things that these
Similar,
email
yeah.
letters. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't think that is like sucking the air out the room, because we actually, you know, talking to these people and, you know, helping them out with
No, 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 no. I'm not saying that. No, no, no. Don't confuse that. What I'm saying is, I'm just saying that a lot of times when we get into
We
confusion,
get into it. Yeah.
conflict, and
Oh, yeah,
don't
with the
take
back and
time,
forth and the-
don't
yeah.
take, if we can control the narrative, because we bring up topics at time. We bring up topics before the letter. We can be more selective at what we bring up. We can be more productive. We are on the internet, and a lot of messes on the internet. Sometimes we can be the greater example of having conversation about serious topics amongst us. I'm not using the letters as sucking out the room, because that's the foundation and the basis of our show. Not saying that. But when do we control our narrative? We complain and bitch. Don't let me do that. Don't let me get on it. I can do it. We complain and bitch about we don't see a lot of positivity. So when do we start to show a little bit more positivity and take control of the narrative time to time? That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely. Well, thank y'all so much for watching the tea tonight. We appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for your comments. If you would like to be a guest on the show, if you have an email letter, a topic suggestion, tangyteaoflife@gmail.com. I'm the only one that see the email letters, so don't worry about your name getting out or anything like that. I think most of the time people make new emails anyway and send them in, but it's all good. We appreciate the letters. Young lady, I know you're watching. We will definitely get to your email letter next week. I think it's important. And like all the letters, you know, are important. You take time, you write these letters. So we appreciate you. Thank you so much, Sophie, for joining us tonight. I know it's always last minute, but you be ready. And I'm so grateful for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Fatine, all the way from WBLS radio station. We appreciate you, my brother. And once again, shouts out to Jamel. Greenleaf Cafe is sponsoring Tangy Tea of Life. We appreciate you, Jamel. And Greenleaf Cafe is located inside of McLeod Health and Fitness. Make sure you check them out. The food is delicious. The protein shakes and all of that stuff.
Juices.
The juices, yes, all healthy food. Make sure you go check them out. Greenleaf Cafe at the McLeod Health and Fitness Spa. Once again, you do not have to be a member of the facility of the gym. You definitely can go in. You can have lunch there, take home dinner, whatever the case may be. You can go right to Greenleaf Cafe and pick up your food. All right. Thank y'all so much. We appreciate each and every one of you. Enjoy the rest of your week. Have a great weekend. Love up on one another and enjoy this thing called life to the fullest. Until next time, we will talk with y'all then. Have a great night. Bye.
And it's not just